All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled Taber Town Council meeting for January 10th, 2022. Call the meeting to order and ask for the adoption of the agenda as presented, please. Councillor McLean.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. And on to item number 4, adoption of the minutes. Item 4.1, minutes of regular meeting of council, December 20th, 2021. Mr. Thibault.
The minutes are before you. There's nothing more for administration to add for your consideration.
All right. Thank you. Any questions arising? Councillor Firth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I noticed in Resolution 567/2021, I think that one of the names of the people that was appointed to a committee was spelt incorrectly. So I would just, it should be, I think, Wendy Chisholm, and it said Chisholm. So I would move that council adopts the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on December 20th, 2021 as amended.
And just to clarify, sorry, Councillor, for the spelling should be what then?
Chisholm, C-H-I-S, and it's C-R-I-S.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you. So noted. All right, someone prepared to make a motion, Councillor Bruin?
Actually, I made a motion.
No, just for the change.
Oh, I moved to adopt the minutes
you did
as amended, yeah.
Oh, all right, sir, all right. Perfect. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, business arising from the minutes are none. Bylaws, bylaw, item 6.1, St. Mary's School, micro apiary. Have a little trouble with that word. Request for bylaw amendment. Mr. Thibault.
I won't try and pronounce that word correctly either, but Kerry Van Ham is going to speak on this one. We had seen it previously, and this is here for its third reading with some updates.
All right, thank you. Ms. Van Ham?
Good afternoon, Council. Yes, we're bringing this back for consideration of third reading. There were some questions that arose at the last meeting in regards to insurance and legal liability. Thank you. So that's been clarified through the town's insurance provider, and the liability lies with the educational institution and not with the town of Taber. There was also, it had a little bit more of an in-depth legal review because of the questions that arose the last time. And they further thought that to clarify the enforcement portion, section 7.7 was added. But other than that, they didn't make any other recommendations, and that is before you for your consideration.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising? Comments? Councillor Rudd?
Thank the administration for their thorough research on that, and I really like the addition of that section, that part 7. And I'd like to make a motion that council gives third reading to the exotic and wild animal bylaw 23/2021 as presented.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Great, thank you. On to item number 7, action items, item 7.1, tax penalty waiver request. Mr. Thibault.
I've asked that Mr. Orwa come and provide any information around this particular topic for council.
All right, thank you, Mr. Orwa. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Worship and members of council. Now, what you have before you here is a request for tax penalty waiver. And I think the letter that was presented out there has already gone out to all council members and you've read it. But I think probably before maybe you take a decision on this, I just wanted to put some things into perspective so that we understand the basis and our bylaw. So currently, you know, the taxes are due June 30th. Then July 1 is a penalty of 6%. And then August 1, another 6% on the current taxes outstanding. And then finally, January 1 is now 12% of everything. Now, one of the reasons why you see October is quoted there and November is because the previous council had deferred the penalty to be paid September 30th. So instead of paying in July, council decided to give them relief until October 1 for penalty to be attached to it. So that is why you see that October and November. So if you read through that letter, there are just two asks from the gentleman. The first one is to waive the penalty for him. And then the second ask is to defer the increase in taxes by keeping the rates the same. Remember, he's talking about 36 months, that's when he's going to complete the project. So if you leave the rate today, he wants 36 months in the future that we still charge the same rate. So those are the two asks that council can give us some feedback on.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising? Councillor Sorensen.
Hi, Mr. Orwa. So I've did a little bit of research, and in regards to different communities with their penalties, it seems like the town of Tabor has a 6% penalty in the first month, but also in the second month, whereas, and then again at the end of the year. It seems like the surrounding communities don't have that second penalty. I was just wondering what everyone, or why town came upon that additional 6%.
So to answer your questions, those are driven by the bylaws. So there's been an outstanding bylaw, and it's very clear on the town bylaw, and I think I did attach the bylaw. And it's only council that can change that bylaw. So that request can only be changed by council through a bylaw. But the way it stands today until it's changed, that is how it has been for the town of Tabor.
So just for everyone to be aware, I've researched the MD of Tabor, Town of Coaldale, and Redcliffe, and they all have the penalty at the first month after the taxes came due, and then also in December, but none of the surrounding communities have that additional penalty in the second month that the taxes were due.
All right, thank you. Don't know that I was aware of that previous. But, Mr. Tebow, that you're familiar with some of that through Redcliffe background as well?
I know that is how it functions in Redcliffe. I hadn't looked at all the other surrounding areas. If council wishes, we can certainly bring back that bylaw for reconsideration at some point, but that's probably not going to happen right now. For these particular questions.
Okay, so I think that's certainly a standard item option, Councillor Sorensen, if you so choose.
I would like to make,
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that would happen when we get to the standard items, but
Okay.
I think that's the time to bring that up if that's the case, to revisit that as a possibility. Councillor Bekkering.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Mr. Orva. As I understand it, the total penalty is $2,082.26.
Yes.
That's for the 6% in October and 6% in January. Is that correct, sir?
No. It is 6% in October, 6% in November, and then 12% of what's outstanding. So if you don't pay your taxes, according to the bylaw, apart from because this one was shifted a little bit to October by council, under normal circumstances, taxes are due June 30th. So July 1 is penalty if you don't pay. August, the 6%, that's according to the bylaw. Then on August 1, again, another 6%. If it rolls into the following year, it's now 12% of what is outstanding, compounded.
All right, thank you, Councillor Bekkering.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Follow up then. So had the gentleman paid his taxes on October the 2nd, for example, his penalty would have been $1,043. Is that correct, sir?
No, if he could have paid, he came and paid the full taxes.
No, had he been late 2 days, let's say. Let's say he had been late 2 days.
If it could have been 2 days, then whatever was outstanding at that point would still be subjected to 6%.
Which is how much?
Yeah.
Which is how much, sir?
So what it is, in October 1, the penalty itself was about 929. So then the same amount we subject again to another 6%. So to be specific to your question, 929.
All right, thank you. Any other questions arising? All right, someone prepared to make a motion, Councillor Bruin.
Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to make a motion that council does not waive the October 4th, November 1st, 2021 and January 4th, 2022 property tax penalties in the amount of $2,082.26.
Right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you. Carried. All right, on to item 7.2, 38 Meadows Way, unit number 34. Mr. Tebow.
So we're going to ask Ms. Selena Newberry to speak on this. Administration does note that in the recommendation under point 3, there is an extra word in there that we could just not repeat. The word "of" was repeated a second time in that motion, just for your information.
All right, thank you. Selena?
So, Mr. Mayor, we received this application for a manufactured home to be located in one of our direct control districts. This particular application does require a rear yard setback variance of 0.86 meters. We will be bringing forward a land use bylaw amendment at some point in the near future that does address the overall setback for this particular district. As we've discovered, there were some clerical errors when it was passed, and the current setbacks may not be able to be met for many of the lots in this particular district, and this is a kind of a comprehensive plan. Just trying to think of what else we need. So, and there is front yard setback is at 3.7 meters. I believe it says 3.5 in here. I did notice after that it is different. It really can't be moved up much more than that, though, because there is a 3.5 meter utility right away at the front of this lot, and the front yard setback for this district is actually set at 3 meters. So no one can actually put their home at 3 meters in this particular district.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising? Councillor Broom?
Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to make a motion that council approves DP 21-141 38 Meadows Way, Unit 34, Plan 221 with the following 10 conditions as listed.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. On to item 7.3, Taber Municipal Police Commission logo request. Mr. Tebow.
We'll get Ms. Kerry Van Ham to speak to this topic as well.
Right, thank you, Ms. Van Ham.
Hello again, Council. So a request came through from the Police Commission that they would like to start utilizing their logo that has been constructed and attached to your RFD. So they are asking to use a portion of the town's logo, which is in the form of the shield in the middle, and the town, as council, need to consider authorizing that if they're able to use that. So a letter came forward from the commission chair, who at the time in December was Ms. Osborne Campbell, who is no longer on the commission. So I am available for limited questions, but there are members of the commission here for any other questions. My understanding is they want to be able to use both of the colors of the logos. There's a black majority color of black and then another majority color of the teal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising? Councillor Rudd?
I don't have any issues with that. With either color selection, whatever they like to go, and if we can authorize it, I would support authorizing it. Just would they be required then to make a further registration with the they call themselves the heraldic office when they issue those crests and things? Does this have to be then registered with them?
No, not as far as I know. The heraldic office has already issued the town of Taber its emblems, and so utilization of the emblems are up to council at that point in time. And this does not necessarily even have to be copyrighted as well. Council just needs to consider the authorization. I did also suggest recommendation number 3 for council can't really direct the police commission just because of the way that the legislation works, but as just a suggestion to the commission to incorporate it into their policy manual so that the strictures of the particular logos don't over time get changed and used appropriately.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
I think if Councillor Firth can also recall, the commission was using, I think, the town police emblem or logo, and so that's why they're bringing this forward and creating their own, is my understanding. Is that yours too?
Yes, Councillor Sorensen, that's what I recall too, is just that they felt the need to differentiate between the town police itself and the commission. So that, I believe, is where this logo came from.
All right, thank you. Just to clarify, the reason for the two color options is dealing with whatever background you might be using them on. Is that correct?
Yes,
Councillor
that's
Firth?
correct. The one
Okay.
with more color, I think, was designed to go on a black background, and then the one with black background would be designed to go on another color, I think.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, any other questions arising? Someone prepared to make a motion? Councillor Rudd?
I'd be prepared to make a motion that council grants the Taber Municipal Police Commission the use of the town's official heraldic shield as part of the design of the commission's logo, provided that the colors and design of the shield remain the same as they were granted by the Canadian Heraldic Authority. And that council grants the secretary of the Taber Municipal Police Commission the rights to use the proposed logos for official commission business, and that the logos be protected and utilized for the same. And the council suggests that the Taber Municipal Police Commission consider incorporating the specifics of use and design of the Taber Municipal Police Commission logo into the Taber Municipal Police Commission Policy Manual to protect the visual identity standards of the logo.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Agreed. Thank you. On to item 7.4, standing item council requests. Mr. Tebow.
The two requests that are there on the screen are still in progress at this point, so there's nothing further to report. Back to council for any other standing item requests.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
So I would like to make a motion to, for administration to look into bylaw number 16-2021 in regards to property tax penalties.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, any other standing item council requests? Councillor McLean?
I have a question for Public Works. I think, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering if it's possible to have a bathroom or a porta potty at all the parks and the playgrounds in town. I'm just wondering if that is an option, as people, especially with little kids, it's hard to, run home or something, anyways, I'm just wondering, rather than have them, I don't know, you scramble or you get there and then you're just like, oh, now we got to run home because so-and-so needs to use the bathroom. But I'm just wondering if that's a possibility.
So
Thanks.
usually parks will handle that, because if it's in a park. Do you have a specific park you're thinking of, or one that's used quite a bit, or?
No, I just find that, I have little kids, so I go to I take them all around town, and so I just run into that problem often of just trying to find a bathroom. Even I know during school hours, the schools are open, I guess, but I don't try and go into the schools during school hours, but then the schools are closed after hours, and so I'm just wondering even if we can have porta potties at the parks and playgrounds. Just wondering if that's an option.
So I would suggest that administration can look into that, a feasibility of that on a bunch of different levels. I don't know what the ask is specifically, but if you were to make one, administration can look into a park, multiple parks, some parks, porta potties where washrooms are already available, whatever it is that you'd like for us to explore, and we can come back with something.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
So I think you're looking for a motion in that regard, Mr. Tebow. Yes. So can you fashion something in your favor to that request? That's what he's asking for. administrator has asked for some form of motion. If you want to give a little time and jot it down, and we can go on to have another counselor up.
I'll bring it back next meeting. It's fine, and I'll look into the parks and stuff of what I think.
You sure?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. Counselor Rudd.
Yeah, we were solicited by email over the last couple of weeks regarding a problem that had been existing for a number of years, and it wasn't specific as to what that problem was. So I made a contact with an individual who represents the neighborhood up along 56th Avenue on the north side, and it's wasn't surprised to hear what the issue was, and I came to understand that you also made a contact, Mr. Mayor, and I know that's been going on for a number of years, and we're specifically talking about the undeveloped land along the south side of 56th Street North that's causes all the problems, and I don't know that there's anybody here that's not familiar with that at this point. And because there was some work done up there in replacing lawns and such that was done by the contractor and to mediate that problem, but it's all just temporary. And when you go up there and have a look at it, you can see that it's pretty scrub surface. Doesn't look like it would support much growth as far as vegetation is concerned, but that would be one good solution to have that area be able to support some vegetation, and then that would cut down on the dust and the blowing and the nuisance that causes all those people that live up there. And you know, I know what that's like, and I've watched that up there and seen that go on. So, and I know council's dealt with it before. So is there anything to add to that? I don't know if that's, is that Public Works or maybe just give us, if you would, Mr. Scheer, kind of an update on where we're at with that, and if there's any proposed mediation.
Well, at this point in time, we can't stop the west wind, obviously. It's going to blow in. It's going to carry dirt in from farmers' fields. Everything out there has been seeded. That can be seeded. I can tell you that. It has germinated, majority of it. There's some of the ditches that might not have. But quite a bit that it is the open properties there has been seeded and it has been germinated. We did that last summer. So it was, you know, a few inches high. Like I said, I can't stop the wind, or nobody can stop the wind from blowing snow into everybody's yards or dirt and debris from farmers' fields. We did have a snow fence up last year, quite a bit of it. Didn't offer any protection, obviously, because residents had dirt and debris all over their yards. So this year we went, because everything was planted, we didn't put up any snow fence because it didn't help last year. So I don't know what council would be looking for in this regard, but I'm open to any remediation or comments.
All right, thank you, Councillor Bekkering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that same gentleman also contacted myself and had a long conversation with the gentleman. And I think Mr. Scheer knows him. He's not dealt with him before. It's the reality of life is that when there's development happening, dust blows and debris blows. And I do know that it was seeded last year, Mr. Scheer. I do also think that the germination was not very good because of the drought. So I don't know what we can possibly do about that. Nothing about the drought, of course, but the gentleman is very concerned about a double standard regarding bylaw enforcement. And I got to give him some leeway on that, I think. I think we might be treating this developer with more kid gloves than perhaps we should, but I leave it up to you, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Rudd.
Yeah, I think it is bylaw. I mean, there's bylaws that talk about unsightly premises and land and such, and which I'm sure that falls into that category. I did see the seeding done up there, and the germination was not very successful. It's pretty scrub surface. It doesn't look like it'll support very much, but it's very sparse. So did the town do that at their expense?
No, that was done by the contractor. We hired a contractor and took it off their bill is what happened. Okay. So we know what we wanted, and it was just a good surface. We didn't want it to get real high, so we have to cut it all the time. So the actual plants material, I'd have to get back to you on that, what was actually seeded.
Okay.
But we know it has good roots and to hold the dust and debris down, and it didn't get very high. That's what we wanted.
Okay, so it would appear to me that a potential solution would be to have that done again until there's sufficient hold, a root network that would hold that down. It works elsewhere. We're not looking at putting sod down or anything,
No.
but if that was a, I don't know, maybe a farmer can put some hay on it and make money out of it. I'm not sure how much land is involved there, but certainly what's there is, the intention was good, but it needs some tender care. It's a garden, gotta look after it.
Yep.
Yeah, just an ask, just in confirmation, can that maybe be looked at to be reseeded if there's that many gaps, Mr. Chair, if that's a possibility?
Well, let's look at the germination this spring and see what's actually coming up. I mean, what you see now might not be actually what was there. I think that's fair. Just so that we don't run into the contractor, hey, you have to do this. It's another $10,000 cost to him. He's saying, I don't have to pay for that. Because it did start germinating. So let's wait till spring and see what comes up. This would be my recommendation.
Yeah, okay, so you may get some more growth happening, is what you're saying.
That's exactly right. It was pretty dry over the summer when it was seeded.
Right.
I mean, they did water, but I mean, you put water on hot ground, it evaporates quite quickly, but there was germination, I know that.
So I guess it's fair to say we can monitor that then and see if there's a need to go further, as Councillor Rudd was indicating also.
Yes, we can. We
help
can bring that back to council too,
Okay,
with
'cause
pictures and things like that.
I don't think I had that specific conversation with this individual about that side, that maybe he wasn't completely aware of that either himself. I wasn't myself either, actually. So I'm just wondering also about the bylaw portion did come up, but to me, if there's a bylaw issue, bylaw should be handling that, right?
I would agree with that, yes.
And to me, the appropriate thing would, if that's the case, to ask one or both of our commission council reps to address that or bring that up, ask for an agenda item to be discussed accordingly and to see how they can handle that going forward as well. So, Mr. Tebow?
Administration would just ask again, council, for a motion to be made.
All right.
6 months is far away. We may forget.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you. Councillor Rudd?
Okay, I'd be in favor of a motion. I'll see if I can come up with one here. I propose that the current situation at land located on 56th Street be further investigated by Public Works to ensure appropriate germination that would stabilize the property in question, and that be checked on in the spring and through the growing season.
All right. Thank you. Just to clarify, I believe that's 56th Avenue, Councillor Rudd? Just to
Yes.
confirm, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
56th Avenue in the town of Taber, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Councillor Bruin?
I'm in favor of Councillor Rudd's motion there, but perhaps we could add monitor the situation out there so that it is watched in the spring. And so that if it does start blowing, it's terrible. This is a terrible year for anything to germinate, and I believe some of that grass will probably still come that hasn't germinated because of the way it was seeded with the mulch, whatever.
Hydromulch.
Yeah, and but it is a mess out there, and we've been dealing with it for a number of years, and our best solution would be him to start developing it, get some houses up there.
We would also ask for a time frame. Is there, when you, some sort of month you would like to bring it back?
May.
Yeah, if we put end of May, and that's an acceptable amendment from Mr. Bruin. So if we looked at monitoring at the end of May and then midpoint of the growing season, July 1st.
All right. Thank you. Friendly amended motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Councillor Bekkering, sorry, you had a question also?
Before I voted, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'd like to have it read back because it's such a long motion.
All right.
I forgot.
Okay, we will go with that again. So could we have that friendly amended motion reread there, please?
Yes. Council directs administration to monitor the current situation of the land located on 56th Avenue and to be further investigated by Public Works to ensure appropriate germination that would stabilize the property in question and be checked on in the spring by the end of May and by July 1st in the growing season.
All right, thank you. Once again, friendly amended motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Great, thank you. All right, any other standing item requests? Councillor Sorensen?
I just want, I can appreciate good news stories, so Public Works, one of the business owners downtown during the last snowfall noticed that there was some large ice snow boulders on 52nd Street and 48th Ave. The administration building was closed due to Christmas holidays. They Googled or went on the town website, found a phone number, called it, and the staff came and rectified the situation and made it safe for the public to use the parking and the sidewalk. So I just want to always to praise the good work that the employees do and staff.
All right, great, thank you for that. All right, anything else arise? All right, we got all our items covered via motion that's required. Okay. All right. With that, we have no delegations. Any media inquiries whatsoever?
None that I've been made aware of.
All right, thank you. Need a short break? You're okay? Everybody? Okay. All right, just ask for a motion to move into closed session. Councillor Brown.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we move into closed session.
Right, motion on the table. All in favor? Carried now. Great, thank you.